Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to Heiko's Garage. I am tinkering around with my BMW R90/6 and maybe this topic is interesting to you as well. I adapted some Mikuni carburetors and I'm going to try to make the installation look a little prettier, and I just want to show you what I found. So here is my Mikuni carburetor install. These are VM32 Mikuni carburetors, really a standard round slide carburetor. There is a place online, I forgot the name, where you can buy install kits for Airheads. So they sell you the throttle cables that will fit into your throttle grip. They will also sell you a conversion kit to hook up your choke lever here, so you don't have to use the Mikuni choke lever. Hey guys, I just wanted to inject a crucial piece of information here into this video. So the business that sold me the throttle cable conversion kit to seamlessly hook up those Mikuni carburetors to my Airhead, that business is no longer in business. That used to be RockyPointCycle.com was the webpage, owned by a gentleman named Bill Blake. He apparently passed away in September, so a few months ago. And so that source for Mikuni conversion bits and pieces to hook it up to your Airhead, that has unfortunately dried up. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Another BMW related business has now closed its doors. I don't know if someone will take this business over and continue on, or who knows. But yeah, anyways, if anyone who's related to Bill watches this video, sorry to hear about your loss. My condolences. And yeah, let's just continue on. Alternatively, you can try to reach out to Mikuni Aussie. They deal with Mikuni related parts, and they will be able to answer your questions if they maybe make a set of throttle cables or can at least point you in the right direction. They helped me with those adapters. They also gave me information about the choke lever conversion kit, which I haven't done yet. But yeah, Mikuni Aussie, I will put a link down in the description. All right, guys. The only shortcoming here is the air intake tubes don't fit onto the Mikuni carburetor, and here I have used a rubber reducer found in the plumbing aisle, and I put a tubing insert in there so it will not crush the plastic when you tighten it down. Anyways, this is not really very pretty, and it's not very perfect because you might suck in some dirty air that's unfiltered. And so I looked around and I found a vendor in Australia. They're called Mikuni Aussie, so mikunioz.com or .co.au maybe. I'll put a link down below in the description. Anyways, and Mikuni Aussie, they were able to sell me some reducers that they have that you can glue onto the end of the carburetor, which then in return make the plastic tube fit perfectly. So let's take a look at the other side, and we're going to do the gluing part together. So we're on the other side. As you can see, I already removed the plumbing aisle from Home Depot from this carburetor and the air intake tube. And so what they sold me are those chrome plated or anodized, I don't know exactly, most likely aluminum reducers that fit onto the Mikuni carburetor. And then the best part is the flange here fits right into the tubes. What I haven't tried yet is whether or not this will all line up afterwards, but maybe not. So there's definitely something still to be done. I guess what I can do is put longer tubes here in the front on the cylinder head side, and you can buy those individually, very expensive, as a intake spigot rubber or whatever it's called. But you can also go to auto parts store and buy some coolant line. This is pretty much a radiator hose or like a thick rubber hose. So if I can find something similar, maybe in a little bit longer, because it looks like we only need a little bit more back here. You know, like what, half an inch roughly to make it into this adapter. We will attach those steps onto the carburetor now, and they even gave me, the Mikuni OZ guys gave me instructions on how to glue it on there. There's some Loctite products to use for that. I'll show you the products real quick. So the products we're supposed to use is a Loctite primer, clean and prime. I just bought, this is a little spray can, but you can also spray it onto a rag and then just wipe things off. And Loctite 660, which is a retaining compound. It's kind of like liquid metal, is in silver, relatively thick with viscosity, so you can put a bead in here, bead in there, stick it on, let it cure. Oh yeah, and the best part is you can get here from the inside, so you can wipe off any kind of excess. So I don't know exactly how I'm gonna make it happen so I don't have squish out and squeeze out everywhere. So I get some rubber gloves on. Let's see, spray some of the cleaner on a clean rag here, and now we're just going to clean the carburetor off, especially this side of the engine here. This carburetor is the side where on an /6 all the crankcase ventilation happens, so there's a lot of oil going through this carburetor here, so we definitely want to make sure we clean this off nicely. Okay, let's do another round. So what this cleaner activator or cleaner primer here does is supposedly activating the retaining compound. All right, and now we're going to do the inside of this adapter thing. Just want to make sure it sticks well. Give the Loctite the best chance it can have. So I cut the very tip of this nozzle off. I made it as small as I could so that we can apply. There is no shaking necessary. This is more like a paste coming out of here, as you can see, silver in color. I don't know, do we need to smear this around or do we just shove it on? You guys tell me now. Speak up now. I guess I'm just gonna turn it a little bit. And squeeze out like pretty badly. But I don't think it's gonna affect anything, so I'm kind of debating whether or not I should just leave it there. Got an inspection mirror here. There's only a little bit, but relatively all the way around, which is promising. That means that we actually got material all the way around. There are a couple little air intake tubes here at the end of the carburetor. You definitely don't want to get anything in there. But the rest here is more or less fine. Feels like it's already pretty solid. I just pushed it on, no wiggling, no nothing. Let's take a look around. Yeah, I don't think I got it into anything important. So that's good. And now I can do the same on the other side, and then I can figure out how to get a longer rubber hose here on that end to adapt the distance. But then we should be golden. So here's now the whole process with removing the intake tube here. So now we're already done here. I don't know, this probably needs 24 hours. Unfortunately, it's Chinese on here or whatever. I could look this up somewhere. I remember reading somewhere 7 to 24 hours, something like that. Yeah, let me handhold you real quick. So I've spoken about jetting of carburetors, even of the original Bing carburetors in previous videos, where you have a idle jet, a main jet, a needle jet, and a jet needle, or the slide needle. That's the same on the Bing carburetors as well on these. The Bing carburetors are, at least the ones that go on a R90/6, are constant velocity carburetors. They have a big diaphragm up here, and you are not personally controlling the slide going up and down. You are only opening a throttle butterfly, which then in turn changes the vacuum in the carburetor, and that opens the throttle. But on all of those carburetors, you have to get the jetting just right. And you know, back in the days, a lot of people did that by feel, by reading of spark plugs. So you ride around with quarter throttle for a few miles, then stop on the side of the road and pull the spark plugs out and look at the color. And then you do your reading concerning the mixture. What you can do nowadays with modern technology is put yourself some bungs into your header pipes. Here's one, and I have one on the other side as well. Kind of in a hidden location, nobody really sees it. This is stainless steel, welded on with stainless steel wire. And I can put a wideband oxygen sensor in there. Let me show you this real quick. So here's the wideband oxygen sensor that fits into this bung, and on the other side of this harness here, I can connect what is made by Innovate Motorsports. It's called an LM2, which is a air-fuel ratio gauge plus data logger. So I can put this onto my handlebar, connect it to my battery so it gets 12 volt. I even have a, come stay open. I have a long power cord for it. I have a long sensor cord, so for the oxygen sensor. I also have a clip for induction, so I can put it on the ignition lead so I get a RPM signal. And then this little device here even uses a little SD card, so I can record my rides, and it shows the air-fuel ratio at idle, at whatever throttle position, at full throttle, and it records the RPM at the same time, so you can tell whether or not you are just putting around, or if you're mid throttle, or if you're full throttle, you know, pinging off of the ref limiter. And then you can draw your conclusions from it, and then make the idle jet smaller, or you make the needle jet smaller, or change the needle adjustment on your carburetor, or you can change the main jet. So I already mentioned it kind of in order. You have to start with the idle circuit, because then the idle circuit, once you open the throttle off idle, it bleeds into the needle jet circuit. The needle jet circuit takes everything between idle and full throttle pretty much, and you have to dial that in pretty good. And then 3/4 throttle to full throttle is the main jet, and the main jet can also be exchanged. And here over on my other construction site, I have bags and bags of little jets. Those big ones, those are needle jets, I think, yes. And then there are some really tiny ones here. Those are idle jets, and these ones are main jets. They're very inexpensive for those Mikuni carburetors. You can even buy them on AliExpress. You can literally buy Mikuni carburetors from AliExpress for $50 a piece. And then with a thing like this and an oxygen sensor in your header pipe, you can get a perfect readout, and then you can read up online, you know, what is the perfect air-fuel ratio for an engine, and then, you know, what do you have to do for your air-cooled engine to make it run a little cooler and all that stuff. Yeah, so my plan is, with the help of that bung down there that I welded into the header pipe, and a nice setup here with my intake pipes and all that, get those Mikuni carburetors dialed in properly, and then eventually I will also put the choke cable adaptation on there so that I can use it with that one lever over on the engine case, and then run the R90 with Mikuni carburetors. I've already been riding this. I've already done a couple runs with the oxygen sensor. It's pretty quick. You immediately recognize whether or not you're running rich or lean. There's no guesswork involved. You just you know, open the float bowl, I can take the idle jet and the main jet out from down there with no problem. The only thing that I would have to do from the top is, the idle adjustment, the needle adjustment up here, and the needle jet. Which direction does the needle jet come out? I think to the bottom as well. Have to think about that. But anyways, so that's the plan. All right, guys, so here's now the final look at my installed Mikuni carburetors. So we bonded on these adapters that I got from Mikuni Aussie. I'll put a link down below. I don't remember what the ending is of the webpage. These adapters allow us to fit the original intake runners. And the only problem was that it didn't seem to line up quite right. That was fixed with a piece of, this is coolant line or radiator hose. You just gotta measure the outlet here and the inlet on your cylinder head, find the right diameter, and then get yourself a foot or whatever, and then cut it to what length you want. So now we are able to mount the intake runners with no modifications. This is almost like stock. So it fits up here, fits down here. You can put the stock hose clamps on there. And the only modification to make this happen was get a little longer piece here in the front. And then, of course, on the other side, we did that as well. So it looks like this. Also here, our little adapter and our original intake runner with a little bit longer piece of hose here in the front. And that's all it took. And this looks much nicer than my install with the parts from the plumbing aisle from Home Depot. So now the next thing that I need to figure out is how I connect my engine mounted choke lever to the Mikuni carburetors. I've already ordered a conversion kit, and then I guess I will have to order or make myself some new cables. And then we're gonna go and do that as well. Once I have all the bits and pieces together, I will make another video and show you guys how I convert the lever choke to engine mounted lever choke. Okay. And it's actually not really necessary, because to get the engine started, sometimes I only turn on one choke on one carburetor, and once the engine is running, it stays running, and it doesn't take much. Once the carburetors are jetted correctly, you don't need much to get the bike running. All right, so that's the conversion. I really like it. The Mikuni carburetors have really woken up this old girl. Better fuel mileage and better response to throttle inputs. It just takes a little bit of work jetting the whole thing. That's a little bit of tedious work, but yeah, I think it's totally worth it. And I haven't thrown away anything. I haven't sold my Bing carburetors. If I ever come across something that I don't like, I might as well go back to stock carburetors, because the stock ones work as well. Alrighty guys, that's it. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye.